Hello students, in this video we will be discussing question number 2 of the May 2019 paper for programming, that is computational thinking, algorithms and programming. So let us begin. In the question 2 we are given a flow chart and we have to understand this flow chart, follow the logic. Then there are 3 questions or 3 parts in this particular question. In the first part we have to tell for the input x and y what will be the outputs, and then in the second part we have to write an algorithm for this flow chart, and in the third part we have to tell that how the high level language can be converted into the machine code. So these are the 3 parts for the question number 2. So when we look at this flow chart, let me just tell you verbally what all is being done in this particular algorithm. So let me just write in this flowchart what is covered. In the flowchart, they are taking a input x and input y. These two inputs are being taken from the user. Then we are performing the comparison. If x is more than y, in that case we have to do certain operations. Else, if x is less than y, in that case we will simply output y into x. So product will be outputted if x is less than y. But if x is more than y, in that case if x is more than 12, x is less than 12, then we will output x. So we will output x, otherwise we will output y. So this is the logic we have. If x is more than y and x is less than 12, output x. If x is not less than 12, output y. And if x is not more than y, in that case output the product of x and y. So this is the logic that we have. So keeping this logic in mind, let us answer the first part of the question. So in the first part we are asked that we are given the value of 15 and 10 for the x's and the y's, and this is x, this is y. Now this we can clearly see this x15 is larger than the value of y. So this condition holds true. Now we will compare. Now is x less than 12? 15 less than 12 is there? No, 15 is not less than 12. So we will go to the otherwise part and we will output the value of y. So what will be the output? We will simply output here the value of 10. I hope it is clear. So 15 is compared with 10. 15 is larger. So we come to the first part. This condition becomes true. So we enter its block. Now here 15 is compared with 12. This becomes false because 15 is not less than 12. So we will simply output y as the answer. Now in the second part they are giving 6 and 5. Now 6 is more than 6 is less than 5, more than 5 becomes true. 6 is more than 5, but 6 is less than 12 also becomes true. So what will happen? This is also true and this is also true. So we will just output the value of x. So x is 6, so the output will be 6 here. Then we are checking for 2 and 3. So 2 is more than 3. Here we will check 2 is more than 3. Now this becomes false. So we will simply go to the else part, which says output x into y. So 2 into 3, 6 will be given as answer. Then we will check 12 and 2. So we will come here, 12 is more than 2. This will become true. And then we will come here, 12 is less than 12. Now we have not put the equal to condition here. 12 is less than 12 will become false because 12 is not less than 12. And we will come to the else part and we will output that output the value of y. So we will output the value of 2 here. Let me just write it. So we will output the value of 2 in this. So for this particular questions, answer are 10, 6, 6 and 2. One thing to note here is that you will get these 1 mark for each of these answers only when you will write the number that will be printed as output. If you will just write x or y here, that will not be acceptable as an answer. Now in the part B, we are asked to write the algorithm using this pseudo code. So we will be writing the algorithm. So we have to write the steps in pseudo code. So these steps which we have written here, these are sufficient as an answer. That you take the input for x, input y, and if x is more than y, then if x is less than 12, then output x, otherwise output y, or else output y into x. One thing that you have to be careful about is you have to carefully mark the boundaries of the if and the else, because otherwise there is a confusion where if is starting, where if is ending. Nested if has to be indented. Then another thing that is important is how the conditions have been put here, how these conditions are being put. If you will put the same conditions as they are given in the flow chart, then it is perfectly correct. But they have given the relaxation that if you will put a greater than equal to or a less than equal to, still it will be considered as a correct answer. However, minor marks might be deducted. But if you will write the same symbol here, same relational operator as is given in the flow chart, there is no way that the answer is going to be treated as false. Now another thing to notice, this question is for 6 marks. So for what part you will be getting how many marks? Let me show you the marking scheme here. So I'll erase the contents here. So we'll go back to the flow chart. So for putting this particular input statement, you will get 1 mark. Then again for this statement, you will get 1 mark. For this decision box, you will get 1 mark. For the else part, you will get 1 mark. And then for this decision box, you will get 1 mark. And for this decision box, you will get 1 mark. So basically, input statements 1 mark. Then the decision boxes 1 mark each. And for each of the outputs, you will get 1 mark. So this is how the marking scheme is divided. So you will get 1 basis point for each correct explanation of each box in the flow chart. Now the last part of the question, you have to tell that the question is that the algorithm is written in a high level language, and the high level language must be translated into machine code before it can be processed. Now, what are the two methods of converting the high level language into machine code? The answer is there are two methods. One method is the compiler. In compiler, the program is converted into machine code in one go. All syntax errors appear at end. And what is the output for the compiler? It generates a executable code which need not be compiled again. You don't need to compile the files again and again. Once they have been compiled, the executable has been generated. It can be run many times, as many times as you want. and it will not give you error for each line. It will give you consolidated error report at the end of the compilation if errors are there in the program. And then we have the interpreter. That is the second method of performing the conversion from the high level language to the low level language, and the interpreter will convert the line into convert the program into intermediary language like bytecode in Java, and then you need to run the interpreter each time the code is to be executed. So interpreter will output the errors line by line, and then each time you want to execute the code, the interpreter needs to be executed. So an example of a compiled language is C and C++, and an example of an interpreted language is Java. So this question is for 4 marks, and you will get 1 mark for each of the points. So 2 marks for compiler, 2 marks for interpreter, and in each of them you have to write 2 bullet points to get full marks. So I hope this video is useful to you, and in the next video I will be recording for question number 3. Thank you.